Welcome everyone. In today's video I am going to discuss the huge amount of cosmic alien encounters that happen in the world. The vast range of aliens that have been described who have visited planet Earth is truly incredible. Even though much of the knowledge about UFOs and extraterrestrials since 1947 has centred on the stereotypical grey aliens, the reptoids and the Nordic Pleiadians, there are apparently over 60 types of different extraterrestrial humanoids, which all have different agendas. Some of the aliens have good intentions and don't want to interfere with the affairs of humans, but some of the aliens have malevolent intentions and do not like human beings, and therefore consistently try to manipulate and control human consciousness. Although it seems countries oppose each other, which is true to some extent, but the geopolitical stagecraft is nothing more than a diversion to keep humans distracted from the covert operations that have been going on with certain extraterrestrials for over 75 years. The mainstream media create endless distractions, dividing and ruling policies with a myriad of social dramas. There are so many connections in world folklore, as cultures and faiths have shown to be very connected with different extraterrestrials. Besides the many connections between cultures and faiths with various extraterrestrials, there has been a civilization of aliens who have covertly helped the Russian Federation for over 70 years. These Pacific extraterrestrials became known as the Visitations and originate from stellar masses within the Eridanus constellation. And since 1953, they have been helping to protect the Russian Federation from the reptoids and the Orion Greys. Certain Visitations covertly gave the Soviet Union very advanced occult technology that has then been mass produced. Yes, this sounds like a science fiction movie, but this has been documented, so please research it for yourselves. It is believed that during 1950, the Soviet cosmonaut known as Alexei Leonov met the Visitations who communicated with him by using telepathy. This is how Alexei Leonov was able to gather this advanced information, which he put into a document called the Book of Alien Races. During 1951, the first version of the Book of Alien Races was created and has been constantly updated. So there are now 12 editions up to 2011. The Book of Alien Races describes the different types of extraterrestrial humanoids who have visited or are still present on planet Earth. The original Book of Alien Races was used by intelligence officers in the Soviet Union, so they were aware of the various extraterrestrials who were visiting planet Earth. The book resurfaced in June 1984, where it was found on a meadow in the Buryatia Republic of Eastern Siberia and was taken by Soviet intelligence officers employed by the Committee for State Security, who had connections with the media. This information was then gently leaked out in TV series, video games and films like Independence Day. The information that is supplied in the Russian Secret Alien Races book is given as both an instruction manual and a source of knowledge to be used. Some of the extraterrestrials which are listed in the secret alien bases are the Elmanork, the Duriesha, the Mazarek, the Puxiti and the Strom, which are also called the Yildan, and many more. It is a fascinating document, and with all the accounts is quite possibly something that supplies great evidence to the existence of extraterrestrials on this planet. In 1952, President Dwight Eisenhower and British Prime Minister Winston Churchill apparently met several times to discuss the best ways to keep the alien presence on planet Earth away from the general public. They founded the Joint Investigative Task Force, the JITF, between the US Air Force and the Royal Air Force. They were not allowed to write anything they investigated. All events were to be only reported directly to President Eisenhower and Sir Winston Churchill. This means the US federal government and HM government in Britain were never made aware of what was going on with extraterrestrials. The Soviet Union of the Russian Federation has numerous UFO reports. On the evening of the 11th of October 1989, First Channel and Russia 1 television viewers observed a picture of an alleged extraterrestrial on a program devoted to Voronezh UFO landing. This mind-blowing UFO and alien encounter started when boys playing football in South Park observed a pink glow in the sky. The pink glow became a glowing ball that circled, vanished, and then reappeared minutes later, and then hovered over South Park. The children claimed to have seen a three-eyed alien wearing bronze-coloured boots with a disc on the chest and a huge robot. According to the children, the alien used a ray gun to make a 16-year-old boy disappear until the UFO departed. This sounds insane, but there is more. Although the children were the only ones to have claimed to have experienced the alien encounter, Lieutenant Sergei Mateyev of the Voronezh District Police Station claimed to have seen a body flying in the sky, but this was also witnessed by around 40 other Russians. But the mainstream media failed to report the visitation by these extraterrestrials and explained the incident away as just some children who had observed a UFO when the event was actually an interdimensional encounter with aliens. On the 7th of December 2012, the Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev made some startling off-air comments to reporters from a Russian news agency claiming extraterrestrials live amongst us. He went even further to suggest that the Hollywood movie called Men in Black depicts a fictional version of Project Blue Book, which was a study created in 1952 by the US Air Force, so they could monitor and study extraterrestrials. Yes, this sounds completely insane, but all the information is out there. An interesting point to note here is when the Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev spoke to the journalists on Russia 1 about the presence of ETs, he would have been very aware they were recording his audio, even though they were supposed to be off-air. But Dmitry Medvedev strongly suggests in his words that extraterrestrials are not only visiting this Earth but are living amongst us. And a secret special service does exist. There has long been claims that not only have extraterrestrials been visiting Earth, but are actually living here as well. With crop circles, some are certainly known to be fake, but most of them have proven to be impossible for any human to produce. Both Salisbury Plain and the areas near to Silbury Hill in the United Kingdom are known to be locations where many crop circles appear. One account is of an off-duty police sergeant that was employed by Wiltshire Police who encountered aliens in a wheat field during 2009. He had been driving along the A4 Great Western Road and observed strange-looking tall extraterrestrials standing in a wheat field opposite Silbury Hill. He noticed they were tall white aliens who were observing a crop circle. Both of them had long blonde hair and looked like the Nordic Pleiadians. They seemed to be inspecting the crop circle. He parked his car in a lay-by and began to walk over to where the Nordic Pleiadians were standing. These aliens were between 6 to 7 feet high. The Nordic Pleiadians slowly walked around the crop circle in the wheat field as if they were studying its pattern. When the Nordic Pleiadians noticed the police sergeant, they took off in the wheat fields at a high speed as if they were hovering. The police sergeant chased them, but they ran so fast that once he reached a large ridge in the wheat field, the Nordic Pleiadians had completely vanished. This was reported and is fully documented, but the story seems to have also nearly vanished from the internet. But I can personally remember this account happening. Much of the mainstream media only reported the encounter as just another UFO landing. But this is another off-world story, and there are so many more out there. You are not designed to think small, but you believe you are. So this is only our mind speaking, and the mind is what determines our perceptions. When the mind is open, it allows more possibilities for the universe to open doors that were closed. The 3D holographic reality is certainly not at all what it seems, and for those who think you know everything, well, no one actually does. Because we live in an expanding collective human consciousness that ultimately cannot ever be controlled. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed these incredible, mind-blowing stories. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next week.